ran the ToneFactor stuff when I had Strymon Iridium. Then I got the ACS One because you can run 2 amps on either side. The Iridium was 1 amp, but you can do 2 different cabs, but you could have 1 amp. So when you ran IR, you were using whatever the circuit that they used or sound, whatever they do to make that amp sound, but you're using like basically a speaker and a mic combination within that. All right. So then I saw the ACS One, so I switched to that. As a matter of fact, I still have it. It's over there. I was happy with it. And then the Dream and Ruby came out, so I switched to that. I loved those, but I didn't like, there was this weird thing that I always mention this in other streams, but the Dream and Ruby, I don't know if you all agree or not, get in the chat, but it had this like, it just had this high end, like on the higher end of the spectrum of like this digital like hiss, like only when you're playing, like the way it would kind of break up in the upper and the high end. But I wanted to love it because everyone was using it. Everyone else sounded great. I just never really loved my tone with it. It was like a weird thing. Then my buddy Gary goes, "Hey, have you seen the ToneX?" And I was like, "Bro, I'm like so overwhelmed with all this stuff that I'm like, don't tell me about another product." Well, then I couldn't help myself. I get on YouTube. And then I realized ToneFactor is coming out with captures, and I'm like, perfect. I love ToneFactor. I miss them because I was running the Ruby and the Dream. You can't do that with them. You can't put ToneFactor stuff. So anyways, rest is history. I've been running ToneX for a long time. Nothing, in my opinion, sounds more amp-like. So we're going to start with ToneFactor. Here's what I have on it right now. All right, so from top to bottom, a Vox AC30, and the rest you can kind of just read. Matchless, I have 3 DC30 captures. One is, all of which run through the channel 1, but one is a G12H speaker, G12M, and then one's the blended that they came up with. It sounds really good. The Fender Prosonic, which is like a staple if you are honestly in the capture or IR world now. Princeton Reverb, and then the Stapleton. So I'm just going to start from the top. I'm going to put both left. I'm running stereo, but I'm going to put both left and right. We're going to run the same thing. So we're just going to start with the AC30. If y'all have any other ideas of how you want this to go, just seriously get in here and just say what you want to see or what you're thinking. And I did short, quick little strums and riffs. Let's go to the Benson. You can even hear it kind of switch there with that like of the speaker. By the way, it may sound louder, but if you look at my metering, I've got everything dialed in to hit the exact same levels. It's just a different amp, so it sounds different. So. All right, so let's go back to the AC30. Back to the Benson. Definitely breaks up different. All right, we're going to move on to we'll go down to the matchless here. All right, let's move on. Now that's a G12H speaker. So the only thing that's different on this next one is just a G12M speaker. All right, let's move on to the blended. This is a cool one. You got to hear this. The Prosonic. Now you'll hear this if you haven't heard one of these before. It definitely has more of a kind of a mid-rangey, darker feel to it. Like you actually have to work to make this one feel or sound brighter. Like I said, everything's on a breakup kind of capture. No clean ones because I wanted everything to be fair and all that. All right, Princeton Reverb. I'm going to do a different riff on this one because I just want you to hear something. But first off, the same riff. Let's do, just for the sake, you got it. I used to have one of these, so it's, you got to hear this. Anytime you go to the neck pickup on a Princeton Reverb, it just sings so good. I bought these a long time ago, and not all of them were in phase with each other. So this is how I remember them and keep them straight in my head. I know that the DC30 and the Prosonic are in phase, so it's easier for me to remember that 2 are in phase than like there's 4 in phase, and then these other 3 or whatever. Those 2 are in phase. If they're not Prosonic, if they're not DC30, they're also in phase with each other. So if I pair a Prosonic with anything but a DC30, I have to flip the phase, and I can do that real quick. If it's same thing with a Prosonic, I just flip the phase. So I'll tell you what I used to run live at church a lot was the DC30 with the Prosonic. If you got headphones, you got to do headphones. Like, you can hear there's something different on the left than the right. And I'm not one of those where, and this is just a me, this is a totally up to you thing. I don't want them to sound too close to the same. You're using different amps for a reason. I had a friend that goes like, God gave you 2 ears, so use them. Like, you're made to hear different things on different sides. Just listen to it. You can hear 2 totally different things if you really like just listen. Mostly in the breakup. And there's like kind of a growl thing going on. This is still the DC30 G12H with the Prosonic right. What's something if you roll the volume off to get a cleaner sound? Well, I don't usually do volume stuff like that. I'll show you, Scott, what I do. And I mean, if I practiced it, I could do it. But instead of like rolling in this, which I could, but... y'all hear that growl off the left channel. And it's like the right one kind of cleans up the overall effect of it. It's weird when you just put it on. So that's me rolling it off just a little. There wasn't even much. But usually what I do is I just pick lighter. So this is volume all the way up and I'm just picking lighter. That was the DC30 left, the G12H, so the third one down there, and then the Prosonic.